Good day. My name is Ugochukwu Ukwebu. I am a Nanodegree lead with the Udacity ALX Cloud Developer Nanodegree program. And in this video series, we are doing a walkthrough of Project 3, Refactor Monolith Application to Microservices. In this third part of the video series, we'll be doing continuous integration. We'll set up a Travis continuous integration pipeline for application. So let's get going. So as always, our starting point is the instruction sets for the course, set up Travis continuous integration pipeline. Prior to setting up a multi-container application in Kubernetes, which is where we will go eventually, we will need to set up a continuous integration pipeline to build and push our application code as Docker images in DockerHub. The end result that we want is a setup where changes in our GitHub code will automatically trigger a build process that generates Docker images. In part 2 of this series, where we refactored our monolith to a microservices. In part 1, we set up the monolith application on our local system, and we built and we ran it as a monolith application. In part 2, microservices, we refactored the monolith application into microservices, 4 services, reverse proxy, Udagram API user, Udagram feed, and Udagram front end. And we used Docker Compose to build images locally, and then we tested it locally in microservices application. In this third part, continuous integration, we use Travis to build. Remember, in part 2, we used Docker commands, Docker Compose to build locally in a local system. Travis, the way Travis works is a continuous integration tool. The way it does is that we push our code to a code repository like DockerHub, and we set it up so that it links with Travis. So when there is a new push or a new action that we've set up to trigger Travis, Travis will pick up the code, pull it into its environment, build the code into Docker images, and then push the code to a container registry like DockerHub. And from there, in a continuous deployment pipeline cycle of the pipeline, we can use a container orchestration service like Kubernetes to pull the images from DockerHub into containers. But in this part 3, it's all about pulling the code from GitHub, building the code into container images within Travis, and then pushing the images to DockerHub. So how do we go? The steps we take is we log into DockerHub and create 4 public repositories. But already in this course, we're not going to do the setup, I will just refer you to the parts of the course that's handled that. You remember in your lesson 3, using Docker containers, this will show you how to set up your Docker Hub and Docker repository. I already did that. So let me try to go to show my, okay, let me pull my code down a little bit. Okay, so let me go in Docker Hub. I already set up those repositories. You can see Udagram frontend, Udagram API user, Udagram API feed, and then Udagram reverse proxy. So my repos are set up in Docker Hub as required by this step of the instructions. If you need refresher, just go to your lesson on containers using Docker to uh, remind yourself how to set up your repos on Docker. Okay, so back to steps. So I've done that. I've created repositories for my microservices on DockerHub. We just saw that. And then to set up Travis pipeline, I won't do the setup in this video. As always, the course did justice with that. I'll refer you to lesson 4, automating the application development. This lesson, the videos there led you step by step to how to create a Travis CI account and how to use it to build images and push to a container registry, just like this diagram shows. Travis pulls image from a code repository, builds it into container images, and then pushes it into a container registry. We'll get to that. So that's that. It's a whole section, and everything you need is there. And even there, Travis is just a continuous integration tool. There are others like Circle CI and GitHub Actions too. You can use which tool you are more conversant with. They will all still do the jobs. Just make sure you know how to use them very well. But Travis is the recommended tool for the course, and I find it pretty easy to use Travis. So I've done that. I've set up my Travis pipeline. So you can also go set up your own Travis pipeline. The instructions on how to do it are there. Create your account with Travis, integrate GitHub with Travis, activate GitHub repository with whom you want to set up the CI pipeline, set up your Docker username and password in Travis repository settings so that they can be used inside of your .travis or YAML file while pushing images to the Docker Hub. So you can, so now what's our first step? We add a Travis or YAML file configuration to the project directory locally, in addition to mandatory sections. The way it does, when we make a push, when we add a .travis or YAML file to our code project directory and we push to GitHub, the integration would have done integrating GitHub with Travis. Travis would detect that and then pull the code and then build it. So let's continue. So let's go back to my code base. This is a continuation of the part 2, where we refactored our monolith application to microservices. In between, I used git add and git commit to push my code to GitHub. And so pretty much these are the steps I did. Git push origin dev. So this project is already in GitHub already. So now we're about to move to a new feature, continuous integration. So what I do is, okay, let me just show you my GitHub, my project structure on GitHub. So I think, okay, this is where I just finished the push here, and I made a pull request and merged from dev to the main branch. So that's that. So I go back to my code base, at least this is where we are. I know that I go back to main branch. So if I do a git status here, it understands, well, it doesn't yet understand that maybe it's telling me it's up to date with origin main. So I need to do a git fetch here to sync with my remote repo. So if I do a git status again, it tells me that my branch is behind origin main by 3 commits, and I can fast forward with a git pull. So I do a git pull. And my main branch, my local main branch is in sync with the remote main branch. So if I do a git status again, so it tells me my branch is up to date with origin main. So as standard practice, I want to set up a new feature, Travis. So I will just do git in a new branch. The feature continuous integration, right? I could have done feature CI for short, right? But let's go with this. Okay, so I'm in a new branch. I what's the next? What was the first step? Recommended first step here. Uh, so I add the Travis or YAML configuration file to the project directory locally. In addition to the mandatory sections, your Travis file should automatically read the Docker files, build images, and push images to DockerHub. For a build and push, you can either Docker compose or individual Docker build commands as shown below. Okay, so before I even go, let me show what my Travis file looks, my Travis account looks like right now. So this is it. These are previous builds I've done here on the repo. So I've pretty much set up my Travis account with my settings and my environment variables. So let me go back to instructions. So add a .travis or YAML file configuration to the project directory. So go back to code. I'm in the root directory. So I do a touch .travis. What's the Travis or YAML, right? So that adds that. So and we populate it with the commands. So I'm pretty much going to just copy something I have ready somewhere else. Pretty much take this up. A script I've used somewhere else to save me time, typing time. So I pretty much paste it here and then do the necessary updates I need to make. Let me see, to remind me what our Docker images. Just want to, okay, oops. My Docker is not running, so I need to bring it up. Okay, so it's an interesting one. This is something good enough it happened here. Not like I had a perfect setup before this video demonstration. So I'm sure a lot of learners would also come through this, try to run Docker command when Docker is not on. Of course, so when your Docker and your local system is not on, it's going to give you an error like it just did me. So I'm going to wait for my Docker desktop tool to come up so that we can proceed with Docker commands for this video walkthrough. Okay, so in the meantime, let's see what we need to see what we need in case we need to do anything to prepare ahead of time. Let's see what's here. My Docker desktop is starting. Let's see, it's starting. So let me even, am I on DockerHub? I think I'm on DockerHub, signed in already. So should detect it. Docker desktop starting. Yeah, I'm signing on DockerHub, I believe. So my last push was 2 days ago. So in this demonstration, I'm going to make another push. That's it, 2 days ago. Okay, Docker desktop still starting. So what do we need to do here? All right, so I actually think it's if I remember correctly, it's 4A. We use 4A versioning in last video. So let me get ahead of myself. Let's start tagging it. Okay, 4A. 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 Oh, I was even going, there was a different place I could see what I used actually. So yeah, it was 4A. So we have here. So just go ahead and complete the editing of, okay, let me give you a better view of my Travis.yaml file, right? So it's pretty much starts here. I'm sure you guys have it. I mean, the Udacity learners will have a copy of the shell of this script. So what I'm doing here is nothing new. It's in the classroom exercises. So it should be pretty clear to you what I'm doing. Let's just go ahead and 4A. Okay, front end is going to be local for now. So let me make that local for now. There's a reason. When we get to our continuous deployment section, once we're done with that, we'll change that to, we'll update that to v4a2. So for now, the front end tags for the images we are building is going to be local. There's a reason for that. We'll get to that in the next and final parts of this video series. So basically, what's happening here is we begin with Node.js 13 using Docker services. Well, nothing to install here. Before scripts, no tests, nothing to test. So basically, we print out Docker version. We build a Docker. We use Docker to build Udacity reverse proxy image in the Udacity reverse proxy directory here. It has to tally here. Let me create some space here. So we build this image Udacity reverse proxy in this directory. So the naming convention is deliberate. Then we'll now also build Udacity API feed in the /API feed directory. Udacity API user in the Udacity API user directory. Udacity build -t Udacity front end in the Udacity front end directory. Then after building, we tag them. The images we built here, these ones here, we tag them respectively with our DockerHub registry direction, and this has to be the exact same names with what we have, what we created with repos within DockerHub. So let's confirm again what I saved within DockerHub. See that Udacity front end, Udacity API user, Udacity API feed, and Udacity reverse proxy. So they tally with what I have here: Udacity reverse proxy, API feed, Udacity front end, right? So that's that. So I'm going to build and I'm going to tag with this 4A. If you look at it, okay, we're going to see it. There's version 4A tags are not online yet, but by the time we're done, we're going to bring it on. Okay, so my Docker desktop is up. So right now, the Docker command should work fine. So Docker images again. So yeah, I have my Docker images set up there. Fine. All right, so let me go and be sure I've done all the things I need to do with instructions before I push to GitHub. Okay, so I think all I just needed to do was in that Travis or YAML file. Remember, the only changes I made to our code base was to add Travis or YAML file and put the build instructions, almost very similar to the build instructions we used to build locally. This time around, we're telling Travis to do that same build for us we did locally. So the same thing we did locally with our local machine. Travis is going to pull our code. It's going to detect the last code push I made to GitHub. There was no .travis.yaml file there, so there was nothing for Travis to do. But now I've added a .travis.yaml file to our root directory of our project. So when I push it to GitHub, Travis will detect it because I've integrated Travis with my GitHub account. So Travis is going to detect it and immediately is going to pull it and build the images in Travis. So after pulling those images, it's going to pull it, it's going to build the images and then tag it, right? Here, tag it to, okay, here it's going to pull it, then tag it with our Docker repository addresses. And then in this section, Docker password, if we go through our classes, we know what this is. We're going to use our Docker password and Docker username, pull it from our environment variables as we set up in Travis. And then it's going to push these images to DockerHub, right? So everything is set and ready to go. I've added Travis.yaml file. I've tagged it. I've put this up. So I'm going to trigger my build by pushing my changes to GitHub repository. So I'm going to show you everything as we go. I've shown you my repository with just the 2 branches we have up already. So let's come here. And you remember what's happening here? All right, did some things there I didn't ask it to. No, not yet. Okay, let's just set up a new terminal. Continue with our work there. I want to trigger something here. Let me just kill that. Okay, let's do a git status here. Okay, git add dot Travis. Right, I could have done a git add all, but it's no big deal. So if I do a git status here again, okay, we've added that. So I do a git commit, added a dot Travis dot YAML. All right, so I do a git push. What is that? Did I do a change on? What is that Travis telling me? Like, did I change anything on Travis? But I didn't inadvertently make a change I don't want to make. Oh, I didn't intend to make. Let's look at that. Because if we do something we are ready to do, it could lead to unintended effects. So everything looks good. Let's save that. We might need to do another commit again. Okay. Let's do that. So let me still add Travis to the, or let's say modified. Modified code base. All right. So git push origin. Okay. I don't want to type that. So easy way. Copy that. Git push origin, that branch name. And let's see what happens. Yep. It pushes and let's go to GitHub and see what's happening on our new branch. You should detect that. This is a pretty much superfluous step. Could have just gone straight to the pull request. Okay, this detected the recent push, right? But this is not where the main action is happening. The main action is going to happen in Travis, right? I expect Travis to detect that latest push. You can see already it's 0 of running. It has started all the jobs and it has started, it has detected the Travis and automatically it has pulled it and it's building it, right? I've pretty much done my setup earlier, just like I said. So let's see what's happening. Let's view the job log and watch it as it goes. So it's pretty much does all it needs to do. Does it install? That's I hope it's something I need to see that I've not seen. I thought I was going to see. Start Docker. Let's see. Let's just monitor it. Git clone, install version. So pretty much everything we asked it to do. Okay. So it has pulled a code. It's now building, yeah. Docker build Udagram API feed in the Docker Udagram API feed, exited with code 0. Just going ahead. So it's always good news when it exits with a 0. It means it experienced or it's reporting no issues with the set of commands it's been instructed to run. So right now it's pulling from develop Ionic. Okay. So if you thought with frozen, we haven't. All right. Udagram frontend has built. Now it's tagging Udagram reverse proxy, tagging with DockerHub names, repository name. And yeah, it reports here that it's done a push to my repository with DockerHub. So let's go there and check for latest, for any new changes there. So I go ahead to my DockerHub. I come here, I do a refresh here. Okay, nothing yet. Okay, let me see. All right, all right, all right, all right. I think I know what's happened here. All right, so this is a brand new image. I also have created repository from scratch. So yeah, this is a very good, this is a very interesting one here. So I'm going to create new repositories for this for these images. So let me call it let me create new repositories now. I know, I understand. It's happened. So I'll give it Instagram front and let me call this to okay, let's give that the ground front end too. Okay, that's fine. Let's call that. That's very interesting what happens. So let's make it public. Create the ground front end too. Let me create another repo. Another repo. The ground reverse proxy too. Create. So let me create another Udacity API user 2. Oh, I didn't even describe it. Udagram API feed 2. Udagram API feed image. Okay, create. Okay, so let me go back to see my repos. There's that one that I did not appropriately name. Udagram API to Udagram front end. Okay, probably looks like it didn't even create. Uda. That's happening. Udagram API. Oh, okay, I'm trying to create something. What's supposed to be? Oh, forgotten. Let's try. Okay, so let's try that. Let's create that. Okay, so let's see our repository. So Udagram API user 2, Udagram API feed 2, Udagram reverse proxy 2, Udagram front end 2. So I've done my repositories. So it's down to, we're back to this set of instructions here. Setting up our Travis. I thought I could jump that set of instructions, but I couldn't, right? Create an account on Travis. Okay, integrates, what's that? Okay, this is the step. Create DockerHub repositories. Log into DockerHub and create 4 public repositories, each repository corresponding to your local Docker images. Oops, okay. Let's correspond to our local Docker images. Let me see. All right. So I come back to my Travis.yaml file. So what does it change here? I think our changes here is going to be everything is okay. It's just a matter of where we are pushing to. So I'm going to change the tag and the push, right? So I'm going to, I did Rust proxy. My add here was the trick here, my TWO, 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 TWO. All right. So I come here, add TW2 to to all right. So basically, it's just a matter of everything is almost still the same. We've instructed Travis to pull, build images, but this time around, it should push to a different repository, right? That's very interesting. We tried to push to already an existing repository, and Travis, the Docker pretty much rejected it. So that's cool. Uh, so let me do a double check again. So let me do a double check with what I did on. I think it's okay. To all I did was just add to everything. It's okay. Diagram front end, diagram reverse proxy. All right. Created a few seconds ago. So I come here. So basically, it's pretty much git status. It's Travis git modified the Travis that YAML with new Docker Hub repository names, right? So I do a git push origin. Oh, I don't think, I'm not sure if I still have that copy I did at that time. So let's do that. Git push origins to the same branch, feature continuous integration. All right. So let's go to Travis. We've pushed to GitHub. So Travis should detect that. Let's go to the top. Expect Travis. Okay, it's already detected. It's can see zero out of one jobs running. So let's see. I'm banking on everything going on fine. Yep. So uh our job on Travis is running. It's pretty much doing a fresh build. Let me see what's the worker information here. There's a step I usually see which, but let's still see how it goes. Hmm. So I think what I did initially was I was trying to um push a brand new code repo base. I was trying to push the images built with a new code base into a Docker repository of a different code base, and it just failed silently. So what I now did instead is just to create a fresh repo for this new code base so that Travis will build and push to it, right? So it looks like Docker rejected the previous push because it knew it's a different code base from what was originally pushing to that particular repo. So let's see what happens here. Okay. All right, so our build has exited with 0. So let's go back to DockerHub. And we created this 6 minutes ago. So let's do a refresh now. Looks like nothing here is detected here. Nothing detected here as such. Net. Okay, I think it's one more step I need to do. I need to rebuild. I need to check up my configurations with Travis. Okay, let me begin with that. So it's pretty much, I think I know where it is. It's going to be done with my environment variables. So I go back to dashboard. Let me check out my settings. Okay, all right. A new build And I've not added the environment variables. Yeah, I think I saw that. I pretty much just ignored it. So I'm going to add my Docker username and Docker password. So let me see what to start with. Let me show you the variables I'm going to add. Um, I'm going to update it with Docker username, right? Okay, that's pretty easy. Docker username. I just need to do this home. Docker username. The value is all right. Okay, so yeah, on all branches. Display volume. Should I display volume build logs? No. So let me see. Environment variables. Okay. Add. Yeah, all branches. Add. And of course, my Docker password, for obvious reasons, I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now so I can add my password. All right. Uh, Done that. Let's see. So I'm going to resume sharing my screen. All right, so I'm back. I've added my password. Uh, Done that, done that. So let's go back to build, right? Let's go back here. Um, let's go back to current. And let's start a rebuild, right? Rebuild was successfully started. So let's still confirm that in Docker Hub, we still don't have anything new here. Let me do a refresh here. Nothing new since we created the repo, right? Nothing new. Last push was 40 minutes ago. That was when we created the repository. So let's come back now and observe our new build. Okay. All right. Yeah. I didn't see that. I didn't see this the other time. So I pretty much suspected that I hadn't added it. So that was one of the issues why we couldn't successfully push to Docker Hub. So when you so this I added it, so it pretty much pulled it from my environment variables from repository settings, right? Setting environment variables from repository settings, because this is what's going to authorize it to be able to push to Docker Hub on my behalf. So I expect things to go fine this time around. All right. Okay. So I'll build X there with 0. Let's go back to uh, DockerHub repo and do a refresh here. All right, voila. We see that last push was a few seconds ago. So let's drill down deeper to see if it's exactly tagged with what we built with. And we see the tag is V4A, and that tallies with what we told it to build. Let's see where's the Travis build V4A. See that V4A on the tags, and same thing with the V4A that we put locally on Travis. Not this on our Travis file, right? We told you to build and tag with version V4A, API feed 2, version V4A. So let's see what we have on our instruction. We've done a build. So our continuous integration parts of these video walkthrough series, we've set up a we pretty much added a Travis the YAML file to our code repository base, and then push to GitHub with the appropriate instructions to build and tag it appropriately, and then push to DockerHub. And we confirm that the newly built images have been pushed to DockerHub. So of course, as part of the rubrics for successful submission of this course, you are required to provide screenshots of your DockerHub showing images that you've pushed. That's let me see, let me bring it up. You're required to provide this screenshot. Let me go back. You're required to provide a screenshot that shows 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Repos on GitHub. And then you're also required to show your Travis dots. What's the instructions? You're required to show Travis CI showing successful build job. So let me see. This is one long build. So I think all you just need to show a successful build job. Let's look at build history. Okay, let's click on this. Right. So let me see. Does it show a successful build job? No, there's a screen that's okay. Yep. This is what you need. You need to show give a screenshot of this with this branch. This shows a successful build, right? We pretty much did 2 builds, but just capture your screenshots with this and on your DockerHub screenshots and save it. You need it for your submission screenshot so that we can verify your project's pipeline is set up properly. Please include the screenshots of the following: DockerHub showing images that you have pushed, and Travis CI showing successful build job. All right, let's look at the troubleshoot section. What did we do? Did we do everything here properly? All right, so we had to do some troubleshooting. Everything didn't work smoothly for this walkthrough, right? This walkthrough resembles what happens in a developer's experience, but it's all good. It didn't work quick and easy, but we did some troubleshooting and fixed everything to work out as expected. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this third walkthrough in refactor monolith microservices. Part 3, continuous integration. In the next final part 4, it's about container orchestration. In container orchestration, we use Kubernetes service on AWS in an AWS using Elastic Kubernetes service, a managed service from AWS. There, we're going to pull these images we push to GitHub. We create a cluster, create our nodes, um, use deployment files to pull these images we push to GitHub and build them, and then run our codes in Kubernetes clusters, right, or in containers. So, this part 3 of the lab week video walkthroughs prepares us for that final stage. If you have any questions relating to what happened here, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, on Slack, and I will be, hopefully I should be able to answer a question to the best of my abilities. Once again, my name is Ugochukwu Ukwebu, a cloud developer, a Nanodegree lead for the Udacity ALX Cloud Developer Program. I hope you had a nice time in this video walkthrough. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.